Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope everyone's having a good day. It's Sean, Blue Ridge Silverhound. Wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about grading and what it means in the hobby. Most importantly, how does it affect both the hobby and new collectors coming into the hobby? Um, as you guys know, there is an incredible emphasis on coin grading today. Okay, probably not just coin grading, but every conceivable type of grading that you could think of. A lot of that was actually amplified by the beginning of the pandemic. For whatever reason, all right, that you want to believe, there were a lot more people jumping into the collectible scene. And you could make the steady argument that because of government money, a lot of people that didn't really need it ended up investing it and doubling down on things like sports cards, comic books, video games, and coins. Those are probably the top four, I would say, sectors of collectibles that has seen a meteoric surge. Now, a few of those have since kind of corrected back to pre-pandemic levels, pretty close to it. Most notable, sports cards has taken a drastic dip, especially for the modern scene of that particular hobby. But this is a coin channel. We're not going to kind of dwell on sports cards or comic books. Okay, that could be a conversation for another day or for another channel. Blue Ridge Collectibles. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Pollen out there, I tell you. But getting back to grading, specifically coin grading, is coin grading hurting more of the hobby, or is it more hurting new collectors coming into the hobby? Take a moment to kind of like think about that, and you're gonna find that a lot of people will want to blame the first option. All right, where it's more of a blight on the hobby. Because at first glance, it seems like a glorified cash grab. And the people that are kind of saying that it is a cash grab are more of your jealous types. Like, I wish I would have figured that out first. I wish I would have been the first one to market with a grading service. Because at the end of the day, it could honestly be a low overhead proposition. There's actually a company, an emerging company. Let me get that for you. I actually have my computer open here. That grades VHS tapes. Um, and this is something that has come out just out of nowhere. Um, and it's called, I guess, investment grading. There's also VHS DNA. These are brand new companies that all of a sudden popped up during this pandemic when grading was hot. And some people would say, well, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Grading a VHS tape, as long as it's like in its original sealed plastic and all that stuff. But apparently, they're doing okay. And some of these companies that kind of what I classify as basement or garage companies that just popped out of nowhere, and they're relatively low overhead, and all you have to do is invest in some encapsulation type of products to seal up these items, which could be pretty cheap. You find a supplier that'll take care of them, and then you're essentially first to market. Okay, and yeah, it sounds dumb. It kind of is dumb, but that's a microcosm of what the grading scene has been like the last 2 years. So the first thing that people are going to say is it's way too expensive with no guarantees. Well, it really depends on what the definition of no guarantees is. In coin grading, is it a guarantee that the grade you think it is what's going to end up on the slab? That seems to be a big thing, considering that there is a lot of press out there, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, online, through general searching, even eBay. In a way, is kind of some of that, I guess, uh, publicity that is really springboarded grading into a whole other level. And there's the promise of, yo, you can make a lot of money on this coin, you can make a lot of money on that coin, and this and that and all that. At the end of the day, a lot of it is just lip service and trying to get your view counts up. That's what it is. I have a good deal of these videos up. A lot of my earlier work, of course, there was a lot of emphasis on this to springboard my channel, and I've since changed my position slightly to instead giving you guys the market update on such things. And we've seen, and it's been a heck of a ride, a burgeoning market exploding right in front of us, to the point where a few things are happening. There are less graded inventory out on the auction scene currently. Okay, we've seen quite a dramatic shrinkage in the availability of such coins as like this. Coins that traditionally you or I probably wouldn't go out and grade, because at first you do have to find these coins, and I think that's a tremendous battle that I think a lot of people can't possibly afford to dive into. So the only alternative is to aim for the more modern stuff. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what's ultimately being pitched, not only online on the internet, but also on TV. You see these cats like Coin Vault TV and HSN, and they have pitched and promoted coins to where it's kind of like a Shark Tank, and they've pitched it since the turn of the century. The Statehood Quarter Series has certainly exacerbated the online huckster and TV huckster pitching. But getting back to grading and how it affects the hobby. Personally, it doesn't affect the hobby too much, other than the fact that there's less inventory, and I would probably go out on a limb and say that there's less available uncovered treasure. There's going to be less grandmothers out there who lived during the 40s and 50s that saved some of this stuff. There's going to be less of those. A lot of that particular generation had either passed on, or a lot of that material had been inherited by its future generations. And then at that point, it's really up to the fact of whether that stuff goes to a coin dealer, which I would say that's probably more than 75% tile of people that end up with these collections. They end up going to some local coin shop. Or for the people that actually do some research. I think there's more people doing research today than there was, say, 15, 20 years ago. So we've seen also the shift in the groups and how they research their items more so today than they did back then. So these folks are researching their items, they're sending them off to the graders. But those particular coins are well worth the price of grading fees, all right? Which myself and Adam Chambers had done this video. It's on the live coin Q&A. And actually, sorry, that's my dog. Like UPS or Amazon probably drove up. But a lot of the stuff regarding grading that really kind of like fires a lot of people's kind of like negative reaction toward it has a lot to do with the money aspect of it. Okay, can you imagine in the perfect world spending on average for one coin, if you were to send this one Roosevelt dime right here to PCGS, and your final bill for everything that's involved with this one singular coin comes out to over $70, what would your guys' initial reaction be? Okay, it's going to be everything that I said about 3-4 minutes ago, that it seems like a cash grab opportunity. It's just another company capitalizing on the hobby and all the other different hobbies that are going right now, and how hot grading is. I mean, grading is incredibly hot, but you also have to look at the reasons why, kind of like the more altruistic reasons why people grade coins, is for authenticity and for secondary market. A lot of the things that normally you're kind of like entry level, not quite intermediate, because by the time you get to the intermediate stage of the educational part of numismatics, you would have figured it out by now. But a lot of the new folks who maybe saw that one coin grading video about how you could make 3 grand on this brand new quarter had entered into your YouTube feed, and you're like, I've never watched a coin thing in my life, but that looks interesting. Let's go ahead and tap into that video and see what it says. That's kind of how things get started. And unfortunately, I think that that message from the get-go is lost. All right. People are kind of disillusioned by the fact that you could go out at the bank right now, pick up a roll of quarters, and all of a sudden that there's going to be a coin in there that's worth immediately $3,000. All you would have to do is send it off to this company that'll grade and authenticate the coin. And that's kind of where things really go awry. All right, you're going to come to find out that when you want to know more about grading, you're probably going to look at other videos, okay? But more importantly, you're probably going to want to visit websites like PCGS's and NGC's coin grading services. Okay, and then from there, you're kind of like you're dipping your toe into water a little bit, but you haven't really committed yourself to anything. And then this is where things can go wrong, especially when you don't have the knowledge or know-how of the kind of like the base core foundational level of the coin collecting hobby, paper money hobby, whatever you want. You could say that for any collectibles out there. If you don't have the kind of grassroots organic knowledge of the hobby, you will ultimately fail, and you're going to end up paying good money after bad to grade things that you had seen on a video, and then you would have spent, at the worst, let's say that's $70. But oftentimes you're going to find that you want to grade multiple coins, and you built up this pretty big PCGS submission form that totals $500 or $1,000. And it's really easy to do. It's one of those things that's really easy to do. Even I got fallen into the trap. And I'm using this video as kind of like my platform to let you guys know that I've been there and done that. Okay, I have wasted thousands of dollars on grading submissions, chasing the impossible dream, because a lot of the coins that I thought were going to be that top pop mid-state 67 grade, where in the auction world is a meaningful thing, I end up getting coins back that grade 65 and 66. Coins that barely made up the base cost of the submission fee for that one singular coin, which in most cases, if you were going to take out insurance and shipping and all that stuff out of the equation, you're going to spend on average about $30 per coin to grade. Okay, and not to mention the turnaround time. Okay, because of how progressive and how popular coin grading is today, PCGS and NGC are reporting incredible long turnaround times, okay? NGC, if you ever go on their website and you become a member, by the way, NGC is going to be kind of like your cheapest outlet to grade coins, but their submission costs have crept up a little bit. They're probably a little bit more expensive than PCGS on a base submission cost level. You're going to find when you go on NGC that they're going to place all of the standard turnaround time metrics right on each service level, from your walkthrough, which is like kind of like your expensive stuff, your rarities, and then your express, and then your regular, and then your economy, and so on and so forth. And it'll say right on to the right of those particular service levels, we have an 82-day turnaround. In addition to the about 6 weeks that's going to take before an NGC representative or grader actually touches the box. They probably have a website, guys. Or not a website, a warehouse. That's why I really meant to say it was a warehouse, with just stacks and rows of boxes of coin submissions that are going to go untouched for a good 4 to 6 weeks. And then when they finally do touch it, it's going to be another 82 days. The average turnaround for a regular or economy submission is going to end up being pretty close to 6 months. So, again, getting back to the people that kind of are like blinded by the dollar signs, and a lot of these folks are also going to be some of your more heavy hitting resellers and flippers. Okay, they want that immediate instant impact of getting the money. They don't want to hold on to the product. They want to sell the product, get the money, and then go on to the next thing. But because of the popularity of grading, collectibles grading, a lot of these companies are reporting these big long turnaround times that are at the end of the day, for a reseller or a flipper, they are unrealistic to that business model. Okay, they will never succeed. They will never flip that thing quick enough, because there is a constant in the modern collectible scene, is that prices do not stay the same, especially when you're grading an ultra modern new product, new card item that had just came out. You find that LaMelo Ball rookie card autograph that you want to go and grade. All right, it's going to take you easily 3 to 6 months to get that coin back, or that card back, or the coin for that matter, because the market's kind of like this. There's ebbs and flows, much like a lot of other things. So getting back to the original question, is grading more detrimental to the hobby itself, or is it more detrimental for the new collector base who are getting into the hobby? Keeping in mind that it's not an end-all be-all for the new collectors, but it is more or less kind of like one of the things that attract this crowd into coin collecting. I would say it's going to be the latter. It's more detrimental for new collectors and less about the hobby. The hobby will do just fine, because the hobby, to this day and age, and our technology is predicated on the secondary market, on heritage auctions, great collections, Stacks Bowers, and even eBay, along with a myriad of other different kind of like smaller outfits. Grading helps kind of enhance the auction experience. When you're selling nothing but raw coins, there's no guarantee that the coin's been cleaned or counterfeit or what have you. Coin grading is an important aspect to the hobby at a corporate or business point of view. And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand, that it's not a detriment to the hobby or the corporate feel to it. And it's hard to kind of like throw out there corporate profit margins, into red, into black, all these technical terms for a hobby. But people are making a lot of money operating these big auction houses, and they're going to continue to do that. And with the concerted collaboration with PCGS, NGC, CAC, who is a Certified Acceptance Corporation, is their kind of like long name for it, who, by the way, the other day reported through email that they are not going to be doing any regular submissions. You're going to have to pay up for that. It's crazy. And there's a lot more going on behind the scenes on a much deeper corporate collaborative level than there is for the new folks getting in. Sure, the new folks is ultimately what's going to grow the hobby over the course of the next generation. I would say next 20 to 30 years. People are going to be dependent. The older folks that are leaving the hobby at 50, 60, 70 years old, or they're passing away and they have to leave this legacy to the next generation, they're going to rely on this new collector base. Now, it's all about kind of like resetting the overall mental kind of aspect of coin collecting to where grading should not be the first thing that you need to know about on a deeper level. Now, grading is important. Being able to grade a coin from poor to mid-state 70 or proof 70 is important for new collectors. But when you attach it to something that is corporate and it's a cash grab to what a lot of new collectors are saying it is, and in a way it kind of is, because it's a lot of money. Companies, dealers, casual collectors are literally writing checks to these companies for many hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and they're okay with it, but they also are aware of the risk. You know, there's a lot of risk involved. You don't know if that coin's going to come back in a genuine grade or not. See, there's so many deeper levels. And as new collectors, which is a great kind of like, audience that I have coming into this channel, as new collectors, you need to crawl before you walk and not see coin grading as an end all be all to fix, your $30,000 in credit card debt, or with trying to set up a Hawaii vacation and all that stuff. That stuff is unrealistic. But people want like the quick money, and they gravitate toward all of these easy kind of like money making opportunities like coin collecting, like NFTs, like crypto, like sports cards, like everything else. And then we all need to kind of slow our roll and really get to know the hobby on a deeper level rather than just hanging your hat on coin grading and, kind of like you're putting all your chips in, you're going all in when all you have is pocket threes. If we're going to use a little gambling analogy, we might as well use it now. You're going all in on pocket threes, and the boy across the table there has, Jack Queen or something that's going to be more favorable to them. I know it hardly seems fair. A pair of threes would beat out a Jack Queen, but you guys know what I mean with the whole analogy thing. But again, slow it down a little bit. Understand the stakes. Myself and Adam Chambers, again, we did a coin grading 101 video. It's very comprehensive. If you want to know about why you should grade coins or how to do it, how to fill out a submission form through PCGS, NGC, and Annex, take a look at that video. I'm going to have the link down below in the description box. I welcome and you guys to check that out as kind of like the first step of understanding what is at stake when you're seeing all the numbers on screen, because it's going to blow your mind. If you think coin grading is going to be something you just send something off to this grader and pay 15, 20 bucks for, you're sadly mistaken. But that's going to go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys again for tuning in on this very thought-provoking video. You guys are fantastic. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Coinaholics, we are collecting together. More of this stuff because this is what you want and less of this. All right, that's it, guys. Peace. Have a good one.